a king helmet? Are you kidding me? Wow. Oh my goodness. All right, holes are not, I found this by the rocks. Could kind of be expected. This is so cool. Now, if this is going to be the first shell I'm picking up right off the bat, oh, it's going to be a good beach walk. And it was. This morning here on Jupiter Island is going to be so fun. We'll find other great shells like flats and cowrie and pretty orange scallops, along with some of my favorite scallops, lion paws. And I'll share a little information about the genus Caribachlamys. Welcome to Florida Beach Walks. I'm Roxanne. Let's go shelling. Here's that helmet, all washed off. Oh my word, I can't believe this is the first shell that I just walked out. I've been on the beach walking for a few minutes, and it was just sitting there by the rocks. Like, are you kidding? Such great color. Oh, too bad it's a little busted, but who cares? Like, I found another helmet on the beach. This is just too much. In Delray, I found one too. Here is a rough scallop and a scaly scallop, but not so fast, Roxanne. This is actually an alternate rib scallop, taking a closer look at it. Over on this website, Seahorse & Company, I love this for like fast references. Thank you, Shell Stories, who pointed this site out to me a little while ago. So let's scroll down to the genus Caribachlamys. Here's the scaly scallops that I find all the time. And Caribachlamys centis, and the ornate scallop, which I have never found that one on the beach, and the alternate rib scallop, which is what we have, and the knobby scallop, which I don't really find too often because those are much more south, like Boca Raton to the Keys. Okay, so looking a little closer at this alternate rib scallop, their ribs are farther spaced apart and there's less ribs, and you can see the alternating pattern in them. Got thick, little, and the little ones are like more inset, they're sunken, and the bigger ones kind of stick out a little bit more. So they're alternating, it gives that a nice texture. And on the ribs, they have like these little scales all through their ribs, and they're fluffy scales, so they kind of stick up. On the scaly scallop, there's lots of scales too, but they're more flat, and there's about 50 radial ribs on these compared to the alternate rib that only has 30. Over here on the ornate scallop, they still have a lot less ribs, but they're more like organized and grouped better. And the scales lay really flat on these. There's a few little scales, but not nearly as many and as textured as the alternate ribbed scallop. So here's the one that I just found on the beach, and it is very worn, and you can't really see a lot of the scales on the ribs. You can see where the evidence where it used to be, but it's all soft and rounded. But you can really see the alternating pattern here on this view. You can see a little bit better, like just big, little all through, and there's about 30 of those ribs stretched through the scallop, which is a lot less than the scaly, and I'll show you the scaly in a minute. But you can even on this side, you can really see the little scales, the raised scales. Now, these two I did find on the beach as well. They're much better condition, and they can be all kinds of colors between the purple and the orange. But you see the raised scales on the ribs here a little bit better, kind of like the Seahorse & Company site. And that is just so amazing. And I don't find a lot of these at all. And I'm sure I picked up several scalies. I'm like, oh, it's a scaly, but it probably was an alternate ribbed. Here's the little tiny baby one. You can see the alternating pattern on the rib sizes and just starting to get its scales that small. But they're just really pretty, and I don't have a lot. Those are actually the only ones I have at the moment. I've sold a few on Etsy and I didn't realize they're alternate ribbed. I'm like, oh no. All right, so here's the scaly scallop that I find a lot of, and you can see their ribs are more compact, more of a consistent pattern, but a lot of little scales on them too, but they're not like flaky and raised like that alternate scallop. And then here's the ornate ones. I did find these two at a shell show. I went ahead and purchased them because I wanted a representation of all the species, all 4 species in the Caribachlamys genus. The scales are much more smooth on the ribs, and the ribs are more evenly spaced, but they're kind of like have this unique grouping to this scallop on those. And the pattern is going to be broken all through the shell. They're not going to have like an orange swoosh or a purple swoosh. So the alternate, the ornate, and the scaly scallop. And we have a lion's paw, completely missing its auricles, its hinge wings. They're on the bottom, but it's a paw, and I'm holding on to it. And here is the bottom valve of a flat scallop. I've been running into a lot more of these bottom valves lately, and it has some nice little color of a zigzag flat. Some pops of orange in the sand. Beautiful color on that rough scallop. Got a little bitty turkey wing. Okay, here's another. That is a scaly scallop. It's missing its hinge, but I'll pick it up. It's just so orange. And look at this one. It's another scaly. It's just amazing to me. Like, look at all the cream shells in the back, you know, with a little bit of color on that spectral bittersweet. But like, how do these, here's a rough scallop. How in the world does that orange saturate so much in some of these scallops? It just blows, it literally blows my mind. Blows my mind. Yay! Another lion's paw. And I'm not worried that these are a little dirty because a lot of them cleaned up so good. Here's a common auger with an added Mexican telling and scaly scallop, and 2 scaly scallops and 3 scaly scallops. Ooh, and I see a little lion's paw. I think the little ones are so cute. It's fun finding any paw, but the little ones are so adorable. Ooh, and here's a little bit of a bigger one with more mature knuckles. I like the knuckles even when they're busted out like that. I think it's so cool. And those knuckles are filled with liquid when the scallop is alive, and it adds to its strength. Now we are in turtle season, and these are tracks from a loggerhead, the most common sea turtle in Florida. Why do you have to be broken? That would have been so amazing to find a rough scallop that large and that colorfully orange. Awesome. Little flatty there as well, but I'll hold on to that. And here's a scaly scallop and a stout tagulus and a few spectral bittersweets. It's like when I squat down to find some shells, I'll pick up some of those bittersweets if they're close by. Keep the paws coming. This is fabulous. It's a bit chewed on the side, but it's got its auricles. And another fantastic rough scallop, little juvenile. And here's a juvenile giant bittersweet. Great pattern. Oh, those are so cool, that size. And a very dirty scallop. I'll try to soak that in the peroxide, but sometimes those just do not clean up. Another stout tagulus. Let's see what else we got in these piles. And there was just like little clusters all through this beach walk, which was just fabulous. Just fabulous. Here's a rough scallop. Oh, and this is one of my favorite rough scallops to find, a lemon pecten. It might be tiny, but it's so cool to have that vibrant yellow color. It's very awesome. And here's a red-brown arc. We got a fresh wash up on orange lion's paw. Don't worry that that's so dark, because a little bit of soaking in that hydrogen peroxide, 6% recommendation, this bad boy cleaned up like this. That's the same shell. The The clean jobs on these shells is just amazing. And these lion paws, I've had one of the best successes to clean the shells. Yes, and let's just pick up a calorie while we're at it. No, why do you have to be broken? It doesn't even have its mature spots yet. This is a deer calorie. That would have been a monster if it was kept growing. Just the sheer size of this is so awesome. So I will hold on to it, even though it's broken. But the neat thing is you can see the juvenile inner swirl in there, and they kind of look like olives, like fat bloated olives when they're juveniles. Checking along the scarp wall here, you can find a lot of shells. We only found some olives today. Already found a helmet. I have seen someone pop out a helmet from this scarp wall, but I got my helmet. I can't complain. Another olive. I think that was a netted one. That one almost looks blingy-ish with its brown striping. And check this out. Isn't that so pretty? It's really small. I'm majorly zoomed in here. It's an orange lion's paw. It's so cute. Got a little rough scallop underneath it. That's just fantastic. Just started to get its bloated knuckles. Awesome. Here's a turkey wing. When the whole shell is together, both of these valves, it has been likened to Noah's Ark, I was reading somewhere. So I'm going to have to remember that and see it for myself. All along its straight hinge line there are little teeth marks. About 50 of those teeth come together when the arc is closed. And here's an imperial Venus, little one. Now this is a turtle nest. There's tracks up and there's tracks down in a disturbed nest. I can't believe that the turtle scales the scarp wall. That was pretty neat to see. These turtles just have it in them to lay their nest, whatever obstacles they have to get over. Here is a egg cockle. Very pretty color markings on these, except for the false striped limpets, looking a little pale. Here is a large stridula, the rosy stridula, and a really nice jingle. Almost a perfect circle. Pick up a little clear one. A little bit windy. And there goes the jingle. And here is an even better imperial. Got some great color on that. And another rosy stridula. And it could be a false stridula too. I've completely given up on trying to ID those. And here's man, this color. This scaly is just perfect. And a hamburger bean, or a donkey eye or horse eye. Yep, they have a lot of common names. A lot of fun animal names. And a sand dollar. No way. I find a lot of arrowheads around here, but you can find these keyholes also. Cute and perfect. And another flatty. How fun finding a lot of the little flat ones. I didn't find like huge flat ones, but that's a nice little zigzag. And here is a hinged rosy stridula. That's cool. Like, I don't find a lot of hen shells on the East Coast, so when you do and it's not a storm, that's pretty amazing. Here is a very thin shell. Yeah, it has a little hole in it. Here's an Antillean lima. Very fragile. And these just stay about around an inch in size. Oh man, too bad that has a hole. Gotta find one that doesn't have a hole. And a lion's paw presenting in the 1-inch size as well. These can get a lot larger, like the size of your palm. Very big, very big. And here is a purplish simile, lacking a little bit of the purple. And another fantastic giant bittersweet juvenile one. And a chestnut turban. Yes, I'm still turning over seaweed. See what we can find. A giant Atlantic cockle. Use that as a little bowl. Let's see what we can find. And another giant bittersweet. Fun. Let's see, we got another chestnut turban. One time here in the scarp wall, I was pulling out so many chestnuts and olives. There's a really nice purplish simile living up to its name, and these can also come orange. A flat scallop. I was like, what am I looking at here? Beautiful. Nice little zigzag pattern on that. Stunning. And here's a pin, a sawtooth pin. And it's still, yep, that's the little muscle in there all dried up. So won't be taking that one. But that was interesting to see that whole species washed up. Yeah, another ton piece that I'm not collecting today. One day. Here's a really pretty, good size shark eye. And I believe that's a Paul Newman with the blue in the middle. A little bit cracked, but that swirl is too pretty to leave behind. A Scotch bonnet under some seaweed, because now I'm looking under the seaweed pretty decently. Last week, our last beach walk was also pretty amazing. Looking under seaweed, found a lot of those large shark eyes and a Scotch bonnet. Awesome. Ooh, and that's a double-lipped one. I find a lot of the single lips. The double lips is kind of like, the last, when it makes another whirl, it leaves its little thick line behind. So those would have like the double lip versus just a smooth body swirl. Fun, fun. Let's see. And a third bonnet. Hey, that's pretty good. Sometimes the shells travel in groups. Now, why can't like a Caribbean vase travel in a group? Last time we also found a nice Caribbean vase under the seaweed. Why couldn't it have brought its family members along with it? All right, so here's a chestnut turban. And a shiny auger. Those are fun. I found so many of these in Delray. They just sprinkled the beach. They sprinkled the dredge pile. Nice little hand here, but that favorite one is that lemon pecten, a little bit bigger than the last one we found. And here's a buttercup with no butter on the inside of that one. And closely related to the buttercup, this is a chalky lucine, and these can get a lot bigger. These can get really, I like using those for my shell flowers. And that's a thorny oyster, a little juvenile. But check out the ribbing on that. I think if this was to keep growing, the spines would have been pink. That would have been amazing. Little lion's paw and a Mexican talon. And this is a flat scallop. That's the curved side of it, the lower valve. A much larger giant bittersweet and a little cute orange ruff. And here is a jewel box lid of the Atlantic jewel box and a few others, including that really nice turkey wing. And here, oh, that's beautiful. It's a round rib flat. Gorgeous color on that one. And here is an alternate talon that still has a lot of gloss on it. Beautiful. A lot of those talons can be nice and glossy. And the largest lion's paw of the beach walk, and that looks like it's gonna be red. Iron sulfide staining is why it's so dark. It was buried, low oxygen environment. It cleaned up great. A large giant bittersweet. And a lion's paw piece. I pick up my pieces, but that red one, I can't wait to show you that one. I'll show you that at the shell haul when I clean it up. Just really pretty dark red. And another one. Okay, this would qualify as a lion's paw piece. A little far gone, but I do sell those pieces. People make jewelry, use them in art projects, all kinds of stuff. Uses for the paws, the broken paws, Mexican telling. And I don't know what this is. It's a keyhole. It's a beautiful keyhole. If I was to take a wild guess, I'd say it's a Dyson's keyhole limpet. Not sure. Woohoo! Another paw. Let's go in for it. Yay! It has its hinge wings, and lion paws present like that. They'll have one longer hinge wing and a shorter one. Awesome. That scaly had a hole in it. A little far gone for that one. And a spectral bittersweet. Here's another collectible paw piece. Oh, and a flat. I found a lot of flats, but not like a larger one that had hinge wings. Here's a little tiny, if I can hold it, a little tiny orangier one. That's cool. Good grief, that color on that scaly is just so vibrant. I just would love to understand how that mollusk can be so vibrant. And here's one that's not so vibrant. It's a giant coquina. What a beautiful walk out here. And here are all of the finds that I found this morning on a Jupiter Island, with the KIING helmet being the centerpiece for me. Just amazing to find that walking out on the beach, like, hello. Just amazing. And the broken calorie, it's okay, because I think I'm going to just like break off that whole outer layer and have that little inside juvenile piece. Doesn't look broken to me, and I think I can make it look really nice. If I decide to do that, I'll go ahead and make a short of me breaking that down to that layer, to that juvenile state. The 3 Scotch bonnets all in a row under the same, the area of seaweed. Nice olives, that big beautiful shark eye, lots of rosy stridulas in the buttercup, lots of flats, but they were a little bit chipped and broken, but I found a few nicer ones down there. And all the lion's paws were just so super fun. And those 2 lemon pectins, amazing. They cleaned up great in their hydrogen peroxide soak. Nice sand dollar. And there's that red one all cleaned up. I showed you the orange one, but here's the red one that we picked up that was a bit black. Just pretty how it cleaned up, chip and all. And here's my 2 favorites, just because they're just so big and beautiful with their color. That little tiny black piece of black standing didn't come out of that orange one right on that umbo. But just amazing. So happy and blessed to find so many paws. Lots of nice rough scallops. Some of the scallops just did not soak out. They didn't soak out their black. Here's some giant bittersweets. Got some jewel box lids, a lot of scaly scallops, and an alternate rib scallop in there. Some lightning Venus clams and egg cockles and a few Atlanta cockles. Lots of spectral bittersweets that I ended up picking up. There's some pretty nice giant bittersweets too that I got with the size on them. Lots of Mexican tellins and 2 thorny oysters, but this one is just my favorite. It's like perfect. Normally they're like so gnarly and twisted, and that's so pretty. Lots of gorgeous colors on all the cleaned up shells. It just tickles me. And thank you so much for watching. And my 10K subs giveaway is now over, and a winner has been drawn and is posted over on my blog. So check that out. Thank you to all who have entered. And again, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I leave you with this.